All right, now to the topic of the hour. COVID has forced a lot of farmers to rethink their marketing outlets, and we saw a burst of creative marketing and sales practices in 2020. And I read about Rebekka and REKO rings in Growing for Market last summer, and I thought the REKO model and the ethos behind it could really work well for farmers in Iowa. So I'm excited to have her joining us from Norway to share her knowledge and experience with us. So Rebekka, please take it away.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's very fun. I love to talk about REKO, and it's become a kind of a mission for me to spread the good news about this market model that I really think, or I know, has helped a lot of farmers, and I see that they can develop their businesses with this model. And yeah, so yeah, you have to change the.
You mean to go forward?
Yeah. What should we have a word for it? Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I can say next, and then
next.
Yeah.
Next is great.
So yeah, a little bit about me. I have now moved back to the farm where I grew up, close to Oslo in Norway, and last year I started growing vegetables, and I've now bought 10 cows that will graze in the hills around the fields of on my farm. So I've just started up in a very small scale farmer. Yeah, next. So I will talk today about an introduction to this REKO model that we have started and worked with for a couple of years here in Norway, and then some experience we have from Scandinavia and how it's organized here, and how you can get started with this new. Yeah, you can start very slow, and I will talk a little bit about the practical things. Yeah, next. So just about this word REKO, it means fair. We kind of translated it into fair consumption in English, and in Norwegian it's also, we translated it, and the spelling might not work in English, but it works in Swedish and Norwegian. So it's become this global word that we use now, even though it's not a very, it's a new word, so we just have to give it meaning. Yeah, next. So this model connects consumers with the local farmers and makers and growers, with the shared goal of supporting small-scale producers and creating a market that encourage ethical production values. Yeah, so here we have a farmer up on the west coast in Norway. Yeah, with his very friendly customer, and tasting. This is before COVID-19. So but it's very like they meet and can talk and can taste and the produce, and yeah, it's a way of meeting. Yeah, next. So it's a pre-ordered market, and the purpose of REKO is to establish an online local food market offering effective, direct, and easy way of this thing. Local produce, yeah, for both local producers and consumers. Yeah, next. So here's how it looks like. It's a private, so every REKO ring has a private Facebook group where the farmers advertise what they have available to purchase with the fixed pickup day. So this is the picture of a Facebook group which I'm administrating in my town, and you see the group has 22,000 members, and the header of the group says which date the next delivery is going to happen and what time. So the delivery here is from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening, January 20th. Yeah, it's 1 hour delivery, but that's a little longer than we usually do it because of COVID-19. We expanded the delivery time so that we don't get all crammed, you know. So that's the group. Yeah, next. So in the group, the ads, this is just a typical ad from one of the farmers. So I will talk a bit about the structure in the ad later, but you know, it says a little bit about what they have and the prices and some cute pictures from the farm, and with the number, we have numbers. All the producers have their individual numbers. So this is producer number 6. And then under here, you can see there's 98 comments, which means that they have about 50 orders with the comment from the farmer. So here we have Elin. She orders 2 trays of eggs, and then the farmer confirms her order, and then it's all set. So then yeah, that's how we do it. So it's very easy. Yeah, next. And then with the scheduled pickup day and time, all the farmers line up with all the orders and deliver it to the consumers. Yeah, so this is how it looks. And you have to pay when you pick up. I don't know how we have an app that most farmers use. You just type a number and then and the amount, and then it's done. Or you can do it with yeah, that depends. It's up to the farmer what kind of payment method they will use. So yeah, next. So about the principles we use. So the only frame we have when we establish a REKO network is that there's no middleman. So you have to produce what you're selling yourself. So you can't sell your neighbor's stuff. So that's the only, yeah, that's the most important rule. And then no payment it's free. So all administration jobs and it's voluntary work. So it's free to join for the farmers and the consumers. Yeah, and then it's the producer's responsibility to follow tax regulations and food security guidelines, which is basically following the law. So that's the producer's responsibility. So not whoever taking this volunteer work, organizing the network. Yeah. And next. So REKO is a Finnish, it originated from Finland in 2013. And Thomas Nelman was the one, you know, he was working to find exploring new solutions for the farmers to get their produce out to the consumers in a good and time efficient and a way for the farmers to actually earn money of the farm. So yeah, so that's the very basic history. So it's happened a lot since 2013, but yeah. Next. So I will talk about what's happening in Norway, because that's where I've been working. So this is a country with lots of small farms, and and it's been working pretty well, but now times are changing and we have a lot of cheap imported food, and lots of farms are shutting down every year, and it's going really fast, you know, and most farmers and consumers want to have you know, family farming, and small scale farming. So this is a way to help out with the businesses without using the wholesale system. Yeah. Next. So I was working with a project basically to motivate farmers to establish businesses on their farm, creating new jobs and local distribution, and having all sorts of inspiration meetings and going through economics, and it was a lot of thing going on. And but then I found by coincidence this model, and I was like, yeah, we'll check this out. And then it actually changed my whole project into working only with REKO, almost. So yeah, next. Yeah, so this is how we realized that something was going on in Sweden. It's like they're doing something really interesting. So we went, it's our neighbor country, so we went for a drive and visited some REKO deliveries and talked to some farmers using this sales model. And I was really convinced, like everyone was saying, this is just what we've been waiting for the whole time. I mean, it's just perfect. It's very time efficient. We get our produce out to fair prices, and consumers were happy, farmers were happy. So we were like, yeah, let's do this. We're gonna have REKO in Norway too. So yeah, so this was in September 2017. Yeah, next. Yeah, so we invited on my from second to from the right, we have Thomas Snellman, and he's the Finnish REKO guru who invented this whole model. And the very right is the Swedish administrator that we talked a lot into, to get this rolling here. And the other people in this picture are farmers, and we had this big meeting, and it started from there. And like we had lots of REKO networks kind of starting from this meeting, and everyone was really excited. Like, yes, finally some things going to change, and they were really motivated to produce more food. Yeah, next. So this is basically how it looks now. All these different dots are different. This is just part of Norway. Norway is a really long country, so I wasn't managed to fit it in this slide. But we have a lot of, you can go to the next slide and I can talk. So we have 120 active groups in Norway, and then about 600,000 group members. With the annual turnover of 40 million. This is estimated turnover number, but it's pretty big. We're a small country with not so many people, so this is really meant a whole lot for these farmers using this network. Yeah, next. So this is Scandinavia. And basically all the small towns or big cities, they have a REKO group now. So, and that's with weekly or every other week deliveries. Yeah, so it's become a big hit. Yeah, next. Yeah, this is just some cute pictures that I wanted to share, and showing, it's been a really happy story, and lots of happy farmers and consumers, and been so many in the newspapers and radio and TV, and everyone was very excited about REKO. When every city starting up a REKO, we have all this fun stuff. So this is happening every other week, and it's still really during 2020 it grew, just exploded, because we had all the farms that usually use or deliver their produce to restaurants, and they, suddenly they lost their customers. So we had a double amount of producer in our group last year. So and then the consumers were happy because they suddenly had like lots more good stuff. So yeah. Next. So I will just go through how this works. So we have a group on Facebook, and the administrator, they upload a header which is the kind of the poster of the new delivery, which says which day and time. And the vendors, they post an ad, what they have and what they're selling, and the consumers comment under the Facebook post from the vendors, and then they get a confirm of the produce, and then they prepare the orders, and the consumers and vendors meet on the date that was set up. And after the delivery, the administration team deletes everything in the group and then posts a new header on the group. So that's how it works, and it just goes every other week.
Rebekka, can I ask you a few questions on this slide too? So okay. one person was asking for the banner that you make every week, do you use some kind of app or program to help make that?
I will come to that, because I have like this thing in the end with all the practical stuff that I really, this has been kind of an evolution. We started out, I didn't use Facebook that much. I mean, it's there, but I didn't know how it worked. So we it's kind of everyone that starts, you learn a little bit about making those posters. But yeah,
Facebook groups are kind of a live animal of their own too. So
and it's I will. Is there other questions?
Yeah, and then one other, just a clarification that all of the farmers come to the same place for pickup. They're not individual.
No. So that's the whole thing. So the consumer can pick up eggs and bread and meat and salad or whatever is on the market, and then they can pick up at the same time from 20 different. I will show you more about it. So so this there have been master theses and people kind of looking into this concept and asking and doing a lot of interviews. So this is one of the Finnish projects that I looked at what the benefits for the producer is. So it's kind of you have a lot of possibilities with this sales model. It's flexible, which means that if you have berries and you only have berries a couple of weeks a year or maybe 1 month, and then you can post berries that when you have berries, and then the rest of the year you don't attend to any post your ad. So it's very you don't have to do it, and some of the farmers are there all year round, every other week. It's very time efficient, and because you prepare everything and just deliver. You don't have to convince anyone at the market to buy stuff. It's already done, and you prepare when it's pre-ordered. It's you don't have any food waste, because you only prepare what you already sold. So especially if you're a baker or vegetable grower, you don't have to toss anything else. And the network, actually, when farmers were asked what they like about REKO, is that you actually meet your neighbor farms and you can talk and maybe I a lot of friends have met through this network, and it's actually very social. Yeah. So yeah, next. Yeah, on the financial part, it's most farmers they can take the price that they actually that it's worth, and then the consumers are actually willing to pay what it's worth. So and they get increased sales because they reach out to a larger consumer group. And then we have the indirect economic motives, which is that we have 22,000 members in our group, but we have maybe maximum 500 that actually order one time. So there's a lot of members that never order it. They might not be able to pick it up, but the farmers are always there, and it's kind of an advertise they have their farm shop also. So many farmers, they see that increased sales on their farmer shop after they attend to REKO. So it's kind of it's a visibility aspect of it. And then cooperation is that all the farmers, they bring their customers into the group, so you kind of add on a lot of food interested people into this group, and it kind of grows, and more people want to eat local by this happening. Yeah, next. So the goal, for all the farmers is to get in contact with consumers that are willing to or interested in your produce, and build trust and get loyal, regular consumers with a time-efficient delivery. So we see that actually farmers that have attended to REKO with really, really good produce, they're actually sold out. They don't even have to put an ad out because their produce is sold already. They have, so it's they get the regular customers that buy their produce even before they have produced it. Yeah, so next. So this is the goal. It's a happy farmer and a happy consumer, and that's all happening. Yeah, next. Yeah, I'll just go. The whole concept of REKO is very people have, this is not a translated sheet, so I was meaning to translate it, but I didn't have time. But this is also a result of a research that's been done, like mapping what kind of people are actually attending to this sales platform. So we have all these different consumers wanting different things, and they can all get it in REKO. So you have the organic, the people that want all organic, or they want fresh, or they want the special gourmet meat, or they want just local, that it's produced local, and they're not that into the other stuff. Yeah, and you can also get pretty low price food. That's not what I think about REKO that much, but you can buy a whole sheep, and you can't do that in a regular grocery store. So you get the special offers. Yeah, so when you have all these sorts of producers too, with all these different, you have organic and conventional, and bakers and beyond organic, which is becoming it's growing in Norway now with all this regenerative farming and holistic management and other qualities that there's no wholesaler here that will pay for the added value. So direct sales is basically the only way to sell your produce. Okay, yeah, next. So this is, I'll just show you how the group that I administrate work. So when I post the new header here, we had a delivery this one but before Christmas we had 70, and it was just chaotic and a bit too many. We started out with 5, and we were happy when we were 15, and it just grew. We started up in 2017, and now we're 70, and we managed to get it to work. All the farmers got numbers, so it's easier for the consumer when they pick up. They can just look for the number, but it's still very, we have, the parking lot is too small, and it's a bit, but it's fun when we get so much good stuff now. So we manage. Yeah, next. So just a bit about the ad, that the farmers put out. And we have rules about how they're structured, so that you have to have this information in the ad. It's very strict about how the farm description, and the consumers need to know what they're buying. So, and then there are rules about if you're selling different rules on the food content. So, but that's the farmer's responsibility to follow those rules. But this is just the structure to that the consumers can easily find the information they're looking for. So yeah, next. Yeah, and what we've been working with a lot since we started is how you communicate qualities of your food in the ad, because many farmers kind of take for granted that the consumers just know everything about farming and food quality. So this is something we worked a lot on, and helping farmers to show what they have, and the quality and the values, and making an interesting ad. Yeah, next. Yeah, we have a lot of worked a lot with telling the story and grazing, and we maybe take for granted here that all the grazing animals actually graze, but it's now sort of an exclusive thing that cattle graze. So you have to tell the whole story, and it's very important in a REKO ad, using pictures, and people are kind of shopping with their eyes in this. It's online store sort of, even though it's a Facebook group and it's very simple, it's still, you have to think about that. So yeah. So that's yeah, and then before you start, so there are definitely things you should consider before you get started, and we have so many discussions here, and then do we need more rules? Who decides who's going to join? Who's going to be allowed to sell? Yeah, it's it's a lot of discussions going on, and the REKO groups are run by volunteer people, and they do whatever they want, and some have rules and more rules, and they have geographical boundaries saying that only farmers from this area can use this REKO, and ethical rules is very hard, and I don't recommend them, but some have them, and it's a bit hard because it's very personal thing, the ethical thing. Yeah. So and farm business size limitations has also been discussed, but I haven't. There's some having, they only want small scale farmer to join, but not many REKO groups here have that rule. Yeah. So this is just things I just listed a bit of the discussions that have been going on. There's no, you can run your REKO group as you want. There's no one, it's just free. You can do what you want, but you have to consider and you have to think it through, because every rule that you make, you have to actually follow up, and it's a lot of work if you want it, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. Yeah. Next. Yeah. So with a good REKO group, you can actually help out small businesses and farmers getting their produce out. And yeah, you have to plan kind of, you know, you don't have the same strategy in a big city as in a small town. So you have to fit the model to fit the different circumstances. So we have REKO groups in big cities and small towns, and they work all over the place. And yeah, but these are things you have to think about, and it's not easy to say all this. Yeah, we have discussion groups. I will show you later, because that's been a big, huge help for all the people that want to start a group, that you kind of talk to the people that already are running groups. So yeah, it will be a big help. Yeah, next. So delivery place is basically an important thing. You have a place. We use the same place. We use the same place since 2017. It's just a parking lot to a school. It's a high school here, and it's where the people live, and it's easy to pick up. And yeah, you have to think about the logistic, about the cars. And so a lot of cars have to go in and out, so you have to think about that, and you have to think about the light and the rain and snow. So last Wednesday we had a bit difficulty, a lot of snow. So, and then the space was a bit smaller than we used to have. So yeah, but it works. So, and what we've seen how to get this rolling is that you have vendors with different type of food. So eggs, for example, is very important. People want egg, and they want meat, and they want bread. And yeah, if you have a bunch of stuff, then it's interesting. We've seen REKO groups that only have 2 or 3 farmers. You know, it just doesn't, you know, it has to have a bit variety of different produce to get it rolling. Yeah, and the consumers, you know, you have a group, but you have to get the consumers in the group. So and it's a really important part. So the farmers can do a lot of work, you know, inviting their already the consumers they already know into the group. But we used local media a lot, and it's been, you know, this couldn't have happened without local media. So it's just I would say a media product. So whenever something's happening in the REKO, or they come with, even if we don't ask them, but we said, yeah, we have actually, now we had I called the news today, even though REKO has been going on for several years. Here we have a farmer, they have a little brewery, and they're now allowed to sell beer in REKO. So they're going to make a story about that. So we have to, you know, just call them, can you make a story about this? And they usually say yes. So they're really, it's a happy news situation, and it's fun. Yeah.
And Rebekka, in Norway,
Yeah.
so here we have a lot of, I would say, like small town Facebook groups. So for example, I'm part of Ames People, which is primarily a gossip page, but also occasionally has great, you know, ongoings. Are you using those pages to sort of leapfrog too, or is it like television news, radio, flyers, all of the above?
Everything. So we have those local groups too, but the ones that really get the members in are the newspapers. I don't know if you have, I never read the local newspapers, but some do. And every time we have, you know, most of the newspapers have online news too. So, you know, and national news also covered it a couple of times. And then we see, you know, whenever it's on the national news, it's just all the groups have like 200 new notifications or member requests. So whenever something's happening and you have established groups, and we have this map we made on Google, you know, all the REKO groups, so it's easy to find everyone. So it's been good that it's not coordinated, but sort of with this map that we all kind of discuss in this group. So yeah, the administrators on this group, they, you know, they have to be a bit yeah, it's a big responsibility, and it's a lot about communicating, and it's you have to communicate positive, and, you know, inviting and including, and it's sort of this, yeah, it's important, but it has to be, I know the REKO groups that hasn't worked that well if the administrators are not that very good at communicating, so that's a very important part. Yeah,
and there's a lot of surprise in the chat box that the administrator isn't a paid role. Is there, when you get to 70, are you thinking about maybe having a stipend for the administrator?
Yeah, it has been discussed, and it's like, how should we do it? Because it's no organization, nobody owns it. It's not a company. It's just a group, and it's you know, we can't even apply for money because we don't. It's not even a company. You know, it's not an organization. So if it had been an organization, you could maybe apply for money, but I know some people have applied for money to give the farmers advice and stuff, and I know that's easier, but I'm guessing there are possibilities, but most people do it and it's fun, and I spend maybe an hour or two every month, so it's not that much when you get it going, but in the beginning it's a lot of work. And but the farm, usually it's the farmers doing the administrating role because they want this to be happening, so they look at it as a kind of investment to get a new sale platform, you know. So yeah, but in Sweden I know there's a lot of consumers doing the administrator role, and it's not that much work when it's yeah, rolling, then it's not much. Sometimes, you know, things happen and you have to deal with it and stuff, but yeah, it's not supposed to be a huge job. When it's a huge job, then I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to be very easy. That's the whole thing. So yeah,
if it becomes too hard, you can just make someone else be administrator.
yeah.
All right, next slide.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and then that's the very important thing with the startup meeting. So whenever I've traveled around the country arranging startup meetings, and then you have to, you know, make a cute little invitation that, you know, that the farmer actually wants to attend to the startup meeting, because they don't even know nothing about what REKO is. They were like, what? But when they read, like, this is a way to make more money, this is fun. Because when you want to start a group, you need a lot of farmers to join, because you can't join alone, because then it's not interesting to the consumers with only one farmer. So you need to have a lot of, yeah, people have to be excited, and they come and they listen, and like, how does it work, what do I need to do, and then you just set a date, and yeah, it's happening. So but this meeting, you know, to go through all the practical things and showing how an ad is made, and it's the important part. Yeah. So yeah, so there are actually two groups. We have the main group where all the ads are and orderings and all where the consumers are, And then we have another group, which is for the farmers and vendors that I actually, the administration team can, tell what's going on and discuss. And, you don't want that in the main group, because then you just want ads and orders. You don't want to have anything else. So we have a group for the farmers, and just before Christmas, we had to start with the numbers, because we had so many farmers, and the consumer said we can't find them, and they went looking, and they have to have good signs and stuff, but they not always do that. So we started with numbers, and then you do all this kind of communication through this group for the farmers. So that's the thing. Yes. And then we have this picture. This, can you see when I'm doing this with oh, I can't hear you.
Muted. I'll have to point for you, I think. Where would you like me to?
Okay, you have a pointer. Okay, no, just on the bottom right. This is the map for our delivery. So we actually made produce zones with honey and eggs and coffee and milk. It's just or meat, so it's easier for the consumers to find, because there are so many confused people ordering in REKO, and they just need it really simple and easy to find. So, and we made numbers, as I said, and then we used Google Forms to fill out. All the farmers just fill out, okay, what's the farm name, what's going on, can you describe what you're doing, and then you get a number. And then we have about 150 registered farmers in this group now. And then I use Canva, which is this app here, to make all these posters. So it's important. And I also make posters like, remember to order, and now it's only 1 day left of ordering. And I make all this funny communicating stuff in the group, just to, and I also make arrangement in the group. So it's just to remind the consumers. But this is just this drawn picture here is from the Canadian REKO group. You don't need this app, but it's just easier.
Is Canva free? Is it a free app?
It's free. I only use the free version. You can pay, but
but why?
You gotta go if you want. But I have never paid anything, and you come a long way without paying with this app. But the pictures are always nicer, the ones that actually cost money. So they want you to pay stuff, but I never did. So so, but I guess next.
So just to clarify, so you're having farmers sign up to be part of your REKO group through Google Forms, but when they're actually
well, we started with this fall, so we didn't do any registration. The only registration is that they have to ask to be a member of this farm group, and we ask some questions, but most of them we know, and then if we don't really know them, we can ask them. But now they have to fill up this form, and I regret not using it before, because it's very easy, and it goes over to this Excel file, and we got all these numbers, and if we need a phone number or have any questions, we have their names and company numbers and stuff. So yeah.
And then just some logistical questions about the Facebook groups. So the consumer group, it's a private group.
Yeah.
And so people request to join?
Yeah. And it's private, so you won't be able to see anything, and you won't. Most of the groups, some of them are public, but most of them are private. All the groups that I run are private. And that's because if you have public groups and ads are shared and people start commenting when the ads are somewhere else, it's confusing for some people. So this is just a closed group, and you have to join, and it's and you have to commit when you join that group. You kind of say, okay, when I order here, I pick up my stuff, and if I don't, then you're
kick them
tossed
out.
You kick them out. Yes,
Yeah,
it's very important. So because otherwise it has to be a system here that farmers can trust and the consumer can trust. Yeah. So these are just some groups that have been really helpful, and this is a national REKO administration group where all the administration people from all the groups in Norway, they join. So whenever they have some questions with their REKO, and like what did you do when this happened, and yeah, and the rules and stuff. Yeah, this has been a helpful group, and I'm seeing now that there is something happening here. I think this is from the States. I'm not sure Gully Rumpus, but I think it's somewhere in North Carolina. I think there's a woman making this cute posters, and there's a lot of members in this networking resource group. I think it's very important to speak to people that are running and get experience and help, and yeah, because there's always someone that's done the same thing as you do. So it's important. So this, and then I know Sweden has an administration group, and I've been there, and they have been running REKO for a longer time. So whenever I was struggling with something, I asked them there, and then they helped me out. So it's a good thing. Yeah. And next. Yeah, so these are some of the posters that people can share in those groups, and then most of them are volunteers, and I made the one I translated it because it was actually Norwegian, just to the left, and then that to the right, someone in North Carolina made, and it's very explaining, and then you can share it all over the place and share it in the group. And what I realized is that, all of the time new members join the group, so you have to explain this concept very, all the time. And, people like, yeah, but how do I order and how does it work? So everything has to be explained over and over again. So it's very important to do this communication in the group. So, or you just end up having a lot of members in the group that get confused, and then confused people don't order, so then it's no good. So it's important to explain stuff. Yeah, next. Yeah, and it's all about trust, and I don't know, we see some groups have more problems with that than others, but main thing here is that it's working pretty well, and there hasn't been any problems, and the farmers kind of make sure that the other farmers are doing the right thing, and everyone. Yeah, did I maybe missed the slide? No, I didn't talk about the pricing, because the pricing is
you're right.
I think I just it was maybe
Don't see it before.
Yeah, I just maybe skipped it a bit. Yeah, because the pricing here is also a topic which is coming up. Yeah, maybe here. No. Maybe I
way
deleted
back.
it.
Here we go. Pricing. Here we go.
Yeah, well,
point being,
it's just a topic that has been discussed a lot of times, because some farmers have a big production and they can keep the prices low, and then you have other farmers with really small scale productions, and then they feel the competition. It's like, yeah, well, you have to be good at communicating the qualities, and then you have to reach out to the consumers that are willing to pay for these qualities. So it's you know, and how to handle this as a volunteer administrator. And you get angry farmers or disappointed, and they think of the concept as a certain way, and they might be disappointed that the REKO is not the way that they thought it would be or something. So it's so then you need some support, and then those administrator groups can actually be very nice to have if you're struggling with some issues. Or we have, you know, consumers, you know, and being angry because they're selling products that they think are unethical. Or yeah, we have all sorts of discussions, and we really but most of the time everything is just fun, and farmers are happy and consumers are happy, and yeah.
I'm gonna leave this slide up because I think it'll be helpful for people to keep to look at it and understand it.
Yeah, this is so I can upload
I already did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rebekka's slides are available if you just want to grab the slideshow in the files section on the conference website.
Yeah.
And of course the recording will be posted. But I guess so when I'm thinking about, you know, if people started doing these in Iowa, I mean, of course, there's already collaborative marketing kind of going on. CSA has some components of this. Online ordering has some components. But what I think might be powerful about this is that when people are on Facebook, they want to some degree, perform their, you know, their shopping and their values, and sort of like, you know, show their lives on social media, and showing that you bought stuff at a REKO ring in the comments.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to use social peer pressure to boost sales.
Yeah. So we actually talked to some researchers on consumer behavior, and it's the fact that it's on Facebook is actually I think the reason why this has become this success, because we have tried to make, or some people have tried to make apps and all sorts of online stores, and they don't work as well, and you don't get this huge sales, and you don't get, the farmers might not be interested at all. So this has worked really well, and the social part of it, and then people are already sitting there with their phones, and it's kind of, you feel that you're actually interacting, and it's yeah, you get the direct contact with the farmer, and you can ask questions if you are want to know more about the farm or the produce or the feed, or, you know, you have pretty there's a lot of consumers that are really aware of what they want to eat, and how it's produced, and they want to know everything. So this is a way of, you know, reaching out to those consumers too. And and another thing is that we have a lot of CSA in Norway too, and most of the farmers here, they don't have one sales model. They use maybe 5 different places they sell. So this is just an extra way of reaching out. So, and they continue with their CSA, but maybe they plan different, and they maybe plan if they have some access. You know, if you have too much of one thing, you just post it on the REKO and then you get rid of it, instead of selling it at a discount. This is kind of a win-win, and I know now many plan to you know, they sell 50% through REKO and then the rest in CSA. So it's good to combine different stuff, and farmers market too. So they use, but now farmers market or 2020 has been a bad year for farmers market because they had to close it down. So we had a lot of farmers just, okay, we can do REKO then, and then it worked out. So
have you found in your administration that there is any ideal vendor size, or are there certain characteristics that you look for in vendors?
No. The group that I administrate is open for everyone, and then I hate rules. I was like, yeah, well, if there are rules, somebody has to make sure the rules are followed, and I don't want to be that person. So anyone can sell, and if you're from the mountains or if you're really close, they can sell. And I think if you have geographical rules, it's very hard for the ones living way up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, because they don't have a big city close to them. So then they will not be able to sell in any REKO groups. So, and I actually like the sheep that has been grazing high in the mountains. It's very clean and tastes really good. So and the consumers like the variety. And then you were thinking about the size in like the farm size, or?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just you know, does it I mean, trust is a big thing, of course. But have you been able to teach maybe the non-tech savvy farmers to put their Facebook ads up pretty effectively?
Yeah, well, there has been issues with some farmers. For example, we had cage chicken eggs, or cage chickens eggs. Yeah, not the eggs, but the chickens that laid eggs were caged, and many consumers didn't associate this with REKO because it was supposed to be organic and small scale, and it was not. And it's like, yeah, well, the farmer has to explain how this works, and it's up to the consumer to decide what they want to buy. But then the farmer realized that they don't actually want to buy the eggs, if I'm honest. So they kind of didn't tell the whole story. So you have to, you have to tell the whole story. And it's part of this concept. It's that everyone, it's not my favorite thing to do is, telling the farmer you have to, tell the whole story, and not posting a picture of a chicken that actually ran away because it looked like they were actually free range in the garden. So yeah, so it's important that the honesty to maintain this trust, that you kind of have to check out what's going on a bit.
Yeah.
Somebody has to watch out.
And just one final question, because we're about to run out of time.
Yeah.
But you said you are up to 70 vendors, and that 2 to 3 is too few. You felt good at 15. Is there a happy number of farmers that, considering you have a diverse product line, what's a good number?
Well, 30, 40 maybe. Yeah, and it's become a problem in the group too. You have to scroll through 70 different, but you can also search different words up in the searching place in the groups if you look for cheese or meat, or so there are, but not all the members know that. But maybe 40 is good.
All right.
But then, well, there are seasons. We have lots of vegetables in the fall, and now there's a lot of meat, and so things go a little up and down. Altogether, there are maybe 200, and then the ads are about 50. But that's a big REKO group, and there are some maybe 10 really big, and then most of them are smaller with 20 vendors, and that's a good amount too. So and it depends, because if you're really north in the country, there's no vegetables at all, almost, maybe a shorter amount of time, and maybe only potatoes. So so you
take what you can get where you are.
So here we have not much vegetables, but so we have different eatings. Some have a lot of sheep and no vegetables. So that was actually a big part of my job the first 2 years is, people need to grow vegetables, and they actually started to do that.
Great.
So
well, I hate to cut you off, but we're We're out of time. And
Okay.
I know that we can, if you want to put your email in the chat,
Yeah.
Rebekka,
Yeah.
I'm sure people would love to follow up with you and learn more.